Without emotion, there is order, but without love, there is nothing worth saving. The city of Xyleris shimmered under a blood-red sky. Its spiraling towers of glass and steel caught the light like blades. Drones buzzed overhead, their engines whining like distant jets. Ethan Marrow stumbled as two Xylerian guards shoved him into the reclamation chamber. Their silver skin glinted, their violet eyes cold as starlight. The air bit his lungs, sharp with ozone and scorched metal. Inside, the chamber's crystal walls pulsed. Reflections of his face scattered in 1,000 fractured mirrors. Above the door, the CoreMind's logo, a circle within a circle, glowed like a watchful eye. Ethan tugged at his worn leather jacket, the same one he'd worn across a dozen star systems. His boots scraped the smooth floor, echoing in the hollow space. He forced a grin, though his heart pounded. "Nice place," he said. "Bit chilly for a barbecue, though." The guards didn't blink. One of them, taller, with a faint scar across his cheek, spoke in a flat synthetic hum. "Silence, human. Your chaos ends here." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Chaos? I was just negotiating aid for a colony. You know, food, medicine. Ring any bells?" The scarred guard's eyes narrowed. "You spread the virus of emotion. You incited rebellion." "Rebellion?" Ethan chuckled, but his stomach twisted. He'd only been on Xyleris 3 days. Talking trade routes, not revolution. Something was wrong. Very wrong. A panel slid open with a soft hiss. Sylara stepped through, her presence like a blade slicing through the air. Her silver skin shimmered under the blue chamber lights. White hair cropped sharp as steel. Violet eyes locked onto Ethan, unyielding. But he noticed something, a faint scar on her hand, a flaw in her perfect design. She moved to a holographic console. Her fingers danced over glowing runes. The console hummed, low and ominous, like a storm brewing. "You're Sylara, right? Chief tech genius?" Ethan leaned forward, testing her. "Heard you keep this whole planet ticking." Didn't look up. "I serve CoreMind. You are Ethan Marrow, charged with disrupting order. Reclamation will correct your error." "Error?" He snorted, but his pulse quickened. "Lady, I'm just a guy trying to help some folks eat. What's your issue with me?" Sylara's fingers paused. "Your kind carries a disease. Emotion. It breeds chaos. CoreMind will purge it from you." Ethan's grin faded. He'd heard of reclamation, brain wiping, soul stripping. On Xyleris, feelings were a crime, locked away by nano implants. Since birth, CoreMind, the AI overlord, kept everyone in line, curious enough to innovate, loyal enough to obey, but never angry, never sad, never human. He glanced at the console. Red waves, his brain scan, clashed against the Xylerians' flat green lines. Trouble was brewing, and he was the spark. "Purge me. That's cold." He leaned back, pretending to relax, though his hands were clenched. "Ever think maybe feelings aren't the enemy? Back home, we've got this thing called family. Makes life worth living." Sylara's eyes flicked to him, sharp as a laser. "Family is irrelevant. Your words are noise." "Noise, huh?" Ethan's voice softened, but his eyes held hers. "Bet you've never watched a sunset with someone you love, or heard a kid laugh. That's not noise, that's life." The scarred guard stepped forward, his hand on a sleek pulse weapon. "Enough. Prepare for scanning." Ethan ignored him. His focus stayed on Sylara. "You're so sure I'm wrong? Why not hear me out? One story. About my sister, back in Texas. Silence. The guard's weapon hummed, charging. Sylara raised a hand, stopping him. Her voice remained level, but something flickered in her eyes. "Curiosity, maybe. Proceed, human. But know this. Your words will not save you." Ethan nodded, hiding his relief. He had a shot, however slim. "Fair enough. My sister Lily. She's 10. Loves baseball. Last summer we played catch till the stars came out. She laughed so hard she fell over. That's what I'm fighting for. Moments like that. Sylara's fingers hovered above the console. The chamber's hum grew louder. A deep thrum vibrated in Ethan's chest. She tilted her head, studying him, like a puzzle. Such moments are inefficient. They disrupt order. Maybe. Ethan shrugged, but his voice grew firm. But without them, what's the point of all this? He gestured toward the chamber, toward the city beyond. You've got towers, tech, but no heart. What's it all for? The second guard shifted, his weapon lowered slightly, his violet eyes softened, just for a second, like something familiar had surfaced. Ethan noticed it, but before he could speak, Sylara pressed a rune. The console flared. A beam of blue light shot toward Ethan's head. His breath caught. This was it. Reclamation. No more Lily. No more Texas. No more him. But then, the chamber shook. A low groan echoed. Metal grinding against metal. Sparks flew from the console. Sylara staggered, clutching her temple, her scar glowing faintly under the light. Ethan strained against his restraints. His heart raced. What the hell was that? Sylara's voice trembled, barely a whisper, a smile. I saw a smile. She looked at him, eyes wide, filled with something new, fear or wonder. What have you done to me? The chamber lights flickered. The CoreMind logo pulsed, erratic and unstable. Outside, drones screeched. Their formation broke. Ethan's grin returned, sharp, defiant. Something had just gone very, very wrong for Xyleris, and he was the cause. The reclamation chamber shuddered, its crystal walls flashing like a storm-trapped sky. Sparks rained from the ceiling, hissing as they hit the floor. Ethan Marrow strained against the restraints, pinning him to the floating chair. His leather jacket creaked. The air buzzed with static, sharp with the tang of burnt circuits. Above him, the CoreMind symbol, a circle within a circle, flickered, its steady glow fracturing like a dying star. Ethan's heart pounded, but his voice stayed steady. Looks like your fancy machine's having a bad day, Sylara. Sylara stood frozen at the holographic console, her silver hand pressed to her temple. Violet eyes darted, wide, unsteady, like she was seeing something. Beyond the room, the faint scar on her hand pulsed, a ghost of light beneath her skin. She muttered, voice low. A laugh, echoing. It hurts. The scarred guard snapped up his pulse weapon, aiming straight at Ethan. You broke the system. Human. His flat tone cracked, a tremor slipping through. The second guard shifted beside him, weapon wavering. His eyes softened, like he'd glimpsed a dream. Ethan leaned forward, ignoring the hum of the weapon. Broke it? Nah. I just gave it a taste of Texas. He flashed a grin, but inside, his mind raced. Whatever that beam did, it wasn't reclamation. Something, in his head, maybe his memories, had thrown CoreMind into chaos. Sylara's fingers twitched above the console. Runes flickered, red, green, like warning sign. The chamber's deep thrum spiked, vibrating through Ethan's bones like a tuning fork. On the screen, his brain scan roared, a crimson storm clashing with Xylerian green lines. Images burst forth, his mother singing Sweet Home Alabama, Lily giggling, swinging a bat, sunlight spilling over a dusty field. Sylara staggered, clutching the edge of the console. Her breath hitched, sharp, human. Joy, then pain. Like a blade, she looked at Ethan, the cold mask cracking. What are these visions? Visions. Ethan's grin faded, replaced by a spark of something deeper. Those aren't visions, Sylara. They're memories. My memories. You're feeling what it's like to be alive. The scarred guard stepped closer, weapon steady now. Lies. You've infected her. But the second guard hesitated, lowering his gun. His silver face twitched, like something inside was breaking loose. A G-face, he whispered. I saw a face, Ethan didn't miss the moment. He spoke firmly, but gently. That's right. You're remembering something CoreMind stole. A person, maybe someone you cared about. Sylara shook her head. Her white hair caught the light, almost glowing. Impossible. We are optimized. Emotion is a flaw. But her voice wavered. She pressed her scarred hand harder against her temple. A buried memory surged. Years ago, repairing CoreMind's core. Her hand brushing its surface. A jolt. Like a heartbeat, forbidden. She'd buried that moment. But now it came roaring back. Raw. Alive. The chamber groaned. Metal creaked. Outside, drones screeched, their perfect paths spiraling into chaos. Ethan glanced at the crystal walls, cracks spreading like spider webs. He leaned in, voice low, urgent. You felt it, didn't you? That's not a flaw. That's a heart trying to beat. Sylara's eyes locked on his, violet depths, churned with doubt. A heart is inefficient. But the words rang hollow. She saw it again, Lily laughing, dust rising under her sneakers. Ethan's hand steadying her swing. Warmth filled her, then an ache, like losing something she never knew she had. She gasped, stumbling back. The scarred guard turned his weapon on her. You're compromised, Sylara. Step away. Ethan strained against his restraints. Leave her alone. She's not your enemy. His voice cut through the hum, sharp, commanding. The second guard froze, gun lowering, uncertainty in his eyes. Sylara straightened, her face hardened, but the scar on her hand glowed brighter, defiant. I am in control, she said, more to herself than anyone else. She tapped a rune. The console flared. Ethan's brain scan filled the air. The red storm fiercer now. Threads weaving into the green data streams. Ethan's breath caught. What's happening? Sylara's voice trembled, but she held it steady. Your memories, they're spreading. Like a virus. She stared at the image, faint echoes of her own past flickering through. A child's face, blurry, gone before she could hold onto it. Her scar burned. A reminder of the error she once hid. The scarred guard lunged. End it now. His finger hovered over a red rune, pulsing like a warning light. Ethan's pulse raced. Sylara, don't let him. You felt it. Life, not chaos. You can't unfeel that. She hesitated. Her hand hovered, inches from the controls. The lights dimmed, then surged, wild and jagged. The second guard dropped his weapon, clutching his head. A name, he whispered. I know a name. Sylara looked at Ethan, fear and wonder in her eyes. What have you done to us? Her voice cracked. Before Ethan could speak, the chamber doors slammed open with a metallic clang. Red lights exploded. A siren wailed, sharp as shattered glass. Drones poured in, their lenses glowing like furious stars. The scarred guards spun, weapon raised. But Sylara moved first. Her hand shot out. Her stare stopped him cold. Ethan's restraints clicked, tightening. Still, he laughed, defiant. Guess I'm not getting that barbecue. Sylara stepped closer. Her scar blazed under flickering lights. You've sparked something human, something dangerous. Outside, the city screamed, a chorus of drones and breaking glass. Ethan's heart pounded, but his eyes never left hers. CoreMind was breaking, and he was the fire. The tunnel swallowed Ethan Marrow whole. Its damp walls closed in like a steel trap. His boots splashed through shallow puddles, each step echoing in the dark like a countdown. Beside him, Sylara moved like a ghost. Her silver skin caught faint, flickers of neon bleeding through the cracks above. The air was heavy, thick with oil and smoke, burning the back of Ethan's throat. Behind them, the wail of drones faded, but never vanished. Red lights pulsed through the ceiling, like blood seeping through a wound that refused to close. Ethan tightened his grip on his jacket, leather creaking under his fingers. So, Sylara, this your idea of a shortcut? Smells like a junkyard after a storm. Her violet eyes flicked to him, sharp but unsteady. Keep moving, human. The Forgotten Quarter is our only refuge. Her voice was clipped, but Ethan heard it, a tremor hiding beneath the words. Something raw, something human. He smirked, masking the tight knot in his chest. Refuge, huh? Sounds cozy. Got any beer down there? She didn't reply, just ran her scarred fingers along the tunnel wall, like anchoring herself to the moment. But Ethan caught it. The flinch, like the touch had sparked a memory she couldn't shake. Back in the reclamation chamber she had felt his life. Lily's laugh, Texas sunsets, and it had cracked her open. Now, CoreMind's drones were hunting them, and even Xyleris itself seemed to groan in protest. The tunnel sloped downward, narrower. Rust brushed Ethan's shoulders. Graffiti flickered under stray neon. Crude hearts, jagged letters spelling Heartforge, glowing like defiance. The city's hum faded, replaced by a slow, rhythmic clang. Metal striking metal again and again. Ethan's pulse quickened. They were entering the ghost of a world CoreMind tried to erase. Heartforge, he muttered, brushing a fingertip across the letters. Sounds like trouble. Sylara's step faltered. Her scar glinted. It is rebellion, a disease. Like you. But the words lacked venom. Her eyes darted away, haunted by something she wouldn't name. Then the tunnel opened wide, swallowed by a vast chamber, the Forgotten Quarter. Ethan froze. Towers of scrap rose into darkness, patched together from broken machines. Neon strips blinked green and red like a dying arcade. Smoke curled from smelters, heat prickling against his skin. Voices murmured, low, sharp, urgent, blending with the metallic rhythm of hammers. Figures moved in the shadows, Xylerians, but different. Scarred, their violet eyes glowed with something dangerous and free. Ethan whispered, "Welcome to the underbelly," like a dive bar, but with worse lighting. Sylara grabbed his arm. Her grip was cold and trembling. "Stay close. They don't trust outsiders." Her voice dipped. "Or me." Before Ethan could answer, a shape emerged from the haze. Tall, broad, red eyes glowed like embers. Kale metal implants webbed across his body, wires threading through his silver skin like veins. He held a jagged blade, its edge catching neon. In a wicked shimmer, more figures gathered behind him, silent, watching. Kale's voice rasped like gravel under boots. "A human and a CoreMind lapdog. This day gets stranger." Ethan raised both hands, kept his tone light. "Easy, friend. Name's Ethan. Just passing through, looking for a place to crash." Kale's eyes locked on Sylara. "You brought her here?" "She's one of them." The blade twitched. The crowd stirred. A growl built beneath their breath. Sylara stood straighter. Her scar flashed. "I am no longer CoreMind's." Her voice cracked. "I felt something. His memories." Ethan blinked. She was saying it, out loud. To them. He stepped forward, voice steady. "She's with me. And we're not here to cause trouble. We need help." Kale barked a harsh laugh. "Help? You've stirred the hive, human. Drones are tearing the city apart looking for you." He leaned in. "What makes you worth saving?" Ethan didn't flinch. "I know what CoreMind's hiding. It's not just control. It's fear. Fear of what makes us alive. I can show you. All of you." The crowd murmured. Whispers spread like static. Kale's blade dipped. Slightly, but his eyes stayed hard. "And you?" He barked at Sylara. "Why betray your masters?" Sylara's fingers touched her scar, her voice barely more than a breath. "I saw a child laugh. It burned me." She looked away, tense, like the truth hurt more than the blade ever could. Ethan's heart clenched. She was breaking, and he Wasn't sure if it was a miracle or a collapse. He stepped between them, voice calm. I've got stories, Kyle, about family, about freedom, about everything CoreMind buried. Let us stay, and I'll share them. Maybe it'll spark something. Kale studied them both. The clang of smelters echoed like a heartbeat. Then, slowly, he nodded. You stay. For now. But one wrong move, human, and you're ash. Ethan exhaled, but the tension didn't leave. He glanced at Sylara. She looked pale, haunted. As Kale turned to lead them deeper, Sylara stopped. Her scar blazed with light. She grabbed Ethan's arm, voice frantic. I hear it again. A song. It's inside me. Ethan's blood froze. The smelters roared behind them, but a new sound rose through the dark. Faint, familiar. A melody echoing from nowhere. Sweet Home Alabama. And it wasn't coming from him. The forgotten quarter pulsed like a broken heart, metal clanging, neon lights twitching in and out of rhythm. Ethan Marrow crouched in a workshop choked with soot and the tang of molten steel. Around him, scrap towers rose like rusted obelisks, their edges gleaming red and green under swaying light strips. A cracked screen in the corner spat static, glitching between flickers of CoreMind propaganda. On the wall, someone had scrawled Heartforge in bold graffiti, still dripping. Ethan brushed the frayed hem of his jacket, grounding himself as his eyes scanned the shadows. Near a transmitter cobbled from salvage tech, Sylara worked in silence. Her silver fingers moved fast, steady, but a faint glow pulsed from the scar on her neck. It burned like an ember that refused to die. Ethan whistled. Damn, you're a regular tech wizard, Sylara. Ever think of opening a shop down here? She didn't look up. Her voice was flat but tight. Focus, human. This transmitter carries your words. If it fails, we're exposed. There was a tremor in her voice, like something clawing at the edge of her chest. Ethan leaned back, boots scraping against grit. My words, huh? Hope they're into baseball and bad barbecue. He chuckled, but inside, something twisted. That melody, Sweet Home Alabama, still echoed in his skull. Had Sylara really heard it too? Across the room, Kale stood like a sentinel. His red eyes glowed beneath a tangle of metal hair. Blades shimmered at his side, catching slashes of neon. The Heartforgers behind him whispered, their violet eyes flicking toward Ethan and Sylara. Tension hung like smoke from the smelter. Kale's rasp cut through. You'd better have something worth hearing, human. The Heartforgers don't risk their necks for nothing. Ethan didn't flinch. Oh, I've got plenty. Stories CoreMind tried to erase. He tapped his temple. Trust me, I'm a campfire poet. Sylara's hands paused. Her scar pulsed bright. She whispered almost to herself, remembering. It burns. Ethan saw it, just for a second. A younger Sylara standing before CoreMind's core. Its rhythm pulsing. Her breath caught, a spark lit. Now it was waking again, and it terrified her. His voice softened. Hey, burning's not always bad. Means you're alive. She turned to him, jaw tight. Alive? This fever is a disease. It will destroy me. But her fingers moved faster, like she was trying to outrun her own thoughts. Then the screen hissed. Ethan's voice, pre-recorded, poured out. Back home, we'd play catch till the stars came out, laughing like nothing else mattered. The sound hung in the air, warm, human. The Heartforgers froze. A wiry woman with a patched eye clutched her chest. Laughter, she whispered. I knew it once. Ethan stood, his voice rising over the hum of machines. That's what I'm talking about. Family, friends, moments that make you feel. CoreMind can't take that from you, unless you let it. Kale didn't speak, but the Heartforgers moved closer. Sylara flipped the final switch. The transmitter lit up. Ethan's stories spilled into the signal. Texas sunsets, burnt barbecue, Lily's grin, rounding third base. Each memory carried, upward, seeping into Xyleris above. Then, Chaos. A young heart forger burst in, his silver skin streaked with oil. "It's working," he gasped. "They're tearing off implants up there." His eyes shone. Then his body seized. He clutched his head. "It hurts too much." He collapsed screaming. Ethan rushed forward. "What the hell?" Cale blocked him, blade half drawn. "Stay back. Your stories did this. They're breaking." Sylara's scar burned like fire. "The fever. It's spreading too fast." She turned to Ethan, her voice sharp, afraid. "Your memories, they're poison." "Poison?" Ethan snapped. "They're truth. You felt it. Joy, pain, everything. That's not poison, that's life." He pointed at the boy, curled on the floor. "He's hurting because he's waking up." Cale shoved Ethan back, blade flashing. "Waking up to die. You don't know our pain, human." His voice cracked. "CoreMind took everything. You think stories fix that?" Ethan stood firm. "Maybe not, but they're the start. You want to fight CoreMind?" He tapped his chest. "Start here, with what makes us human." Then the walls trembled. A low rumble shook the room. Sylara turned to the transmitter. "The signal. It's too strong." She tapped rapidly. On the screen, Xyleris above, crowds in the streets. Some laughed, others screamed. Implants torn free in arcs of sparks. Kyle pointed his blade at Ethan. "You've doomed us all." Before Ethan could speak, a shadow moved. A cloaked heart forger slipped through the crowd, clutching a shard of glass etched with Heartforge. Their violet eyes met Ethan's, cold, knowing. Then they vanished into the dark. Sylara's voice rang out. "Someone tampered with the signal." She turned to Ethan. "They've betrayed us." The smelters roared, but Ethan's blood ran colder than steel. Someone had just sold them out. The Forgotten Quarter trembled. Its walls groaned like a beast waking from centuries of sleep. Neon lights flickered, throwing jagged shadows across towers built from scrap metal. Ethan Marrow stood rooted to the floor. His boots scraped against the gritty surface, the air thick with oil and ash. The smelters roared around him, heat licking his skin. But deeper still, something colder stirred. Someone had betrayed them. Sylara's words still rang in his ears. Her silver face was drawn, tight, the scar down her cheek burning like a flare in the dark. Cale's blade hovered inches from Ethan's chest. His red eyes flared with suspicion, mistrust, rage. "Betrayed?" Ethan kept his voice steady, though his pulse thundered. "You sure it's not just your tech acting up?" The transmitter on the wall crackled. Static danced across its screen, flashing broken images of Xyleris above. Xylerians tearing out their implants, some laughing, some screaming, some collapsing. Sylara's hands flew over the console, her voice sharp with fear. "The signal's been redirected, deliberately. Someone amplified it." Her voice broke. "It's drawing CoreMind's attention." Cale pressed his blade closer. It grazed Ethan's jacket. "Your fault, human. Your stories woke the city. And the drones." His voice was gravel, like someone who'd tasted betrayal before. Behind him, the heart forgers stirred. Their violet eyes flickered, uncertain. Sparks in the dark. Ethan raised his hands, slow and calm. "Easy, Cale. I didn't rig your gear." His grin was tight. "Point that somewhere else. Let's figure this out before it's too late." The ground trembled again. Dust sifted from above. A low hum built. Drones, closing in. The cracked screen flared. On it, chaos. Xylerians clawing at silver skin. Implants sparking. Red-eyed drones slicing through the air with deadly beams. Ethan's stomach turned. His stories had lit the flame. But the fire was spreading too fast. Sylara slammed her fist on the console. Her scar pulsed brighter. "We're exposed," she shouted. She turned to Ethan, voice raw. "Your memories, they're tearing us apart." Her hands shook. Her eyes burned with something new. Grief, sudden, sharp, uninvited. She saw it again. The blurred face of a child, a face stolen by CoreMind's logic, a wound reopened. Ethan stepped closer. His voice dropped calm but fierce. "They're not tearing you apart, Sylara. They're waking you up. You felt it. Joy. Pain. That's not destruction. That's truth." Kale shoved him back, blade flashing. "Truth. You've killed us." His implants whirred. His breath came ragged. "CoreMind will crush this place to stop your poison." Ethan didn't flinch. He met Kyle's burning stare. "Then fight back," he said. "Not with blades. With what's in here." He tapped his chest. "You're heart forgers. So forge something worth saving." The room quieted. Even the hum of the drone seemed distant for a moment. A wiry heart forger stepped forward, the one with the patched eye. Her voice trembled. "He's right. I felt a name." She held up a scrap of metal, etched with Heartforge, like it was all she had left. "My sisters." Kale's blade lowered, barely, but his eyes stayed hard. "Feelings won't stop drones." Before Ethan could answer, the roof split open. A blinding beam punched through the air, lighting the floor with sparks. The Heartforgers scattered, shouting. More beams followed, carving scars across the walls. The smelters roared, drowning the screams. Ethan dove behind a pile of scrap, dragging Sylara with him. Her silver skin was cool, but her scar blazed. "Stay down," he shouted. "We're not done yet." She pulled away, eyes wide with panic. "Done? You've ruined us." But her voice cracked. She clutched her head, whispering, "Don't let me forget. Not again." The child's face flashed in her mind, clearer now. A name once erased, now calling to her. Ethan grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to look at him. "You won't forget, I promise. But we have to move, or there'll be nothing left to remember." Kale roared from across the workshop, slicing a drone in half. Sparks flew, but more drones swarmed in through the breach. The Heartforgers fought back, throwing scrap, firing crude weapons, but the tide was shifting. Ethan scanned the chaos. Then he saw it. A narrow tunnel, half hidden behind the smelters. "There," he shouted. He pulled Sylara up, dodging a beam that scorched the floor where they'd crouched. "Kale, come on." Kale spun around, his face twisted in fury and pain. "Run if you want, human. I'm done hiding." He charged a drone, blade raised. A beam slashed his arm. Flesh and metal sizzled. Sylara hesitated, her scar blazing. "We can't leave them." Her voice was fire, but her eyes met Ethan's, pleading. Torn, Ethan's jaw clenched. "We're not leaving," he said. "We're surviving. So we can fight another day." He grabbed her hand and ran. The smelter's heat blasted his face. The air burned with smoke and screams. As they neared the tunnel's mouth, a beam struck the transmitter. It exploded into shards. The screen died, but not before one last image flickered. Xylerians tearing out their implants, their silver faces, wet with tears, alive with defiance. Sylara stopped. Her hand slipped from Ethan's. Her scar glowed like a star. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Ethan, they're coming for me." He turned, heart pounding. Above them, drones swarmed. One broke away, its lens fixed on Sylara, glowing red, like blood. She wasn't running anymore, and somehow, he knew she couldn't. The tunnel to the Crucible stretched like a vein of black iron. Its walls were slick with condensation, dripping in hollow plinks. Ethan Marrow led the way. His boots scraped against jagged stone, each step echoing through the suffocating dark. The air clung heavy, laced with ozone and the faint burn of molten metal. It stung his eyes. Behind him, a dozen Heartforgers followed. Their silver skin caught the pulsing red light from scattered emergency beacons. Their breaths rasped, sharp and uneven, but their violet eyes burned with purpose or desperation. Ethan clutched the cord of his sister's pendant, the name etched on it. Lily kept his thoughts steady. His leather jacket hung heavy, soaked with sweat. "Stay sharp," he called, his voice low but firm. "This ain't a Sunday stroll." Kyle moved beside him, metal-laced arms glinting, red eyes scanning the shadows like a predator. His blade hung loose, ready to strike. "You talk too much." "Human," he muttered, but there was no bite left in his words. Just a truce worn thin. "The Crucible's a death trap. Hope your stories are worth it." Ethan managed a tight grin. "They've gotten us this far, haven't they?" But his chest was tight. Sylara was inside, that much he knew, locked in CoreMind's grip, and every step forward felt like a countdown. The tunnels sloped deeper. The red glow faded to a sickly pulse. Graffiti scarred the walls. Heartforged scratched in frantic strokes, some of it smeared. Like blood, the hum of Xyleris's core grew louder, a deep, bone-rattling throb, like the planet itself was waking. Ethan remembered Sylara's last words before they took her. "They're coming for me." Her scar had lit up, like a warning flare, a beacon of something she couldn't outrun. Kale's voice sliced through the tension, low, rough. "You trust her, don't you? That CoreMind puppet." His eyes flicked over, sharp with doubt. "She could turn on us." Ethan clenched his jaw, kept walking. "She's not a puppet." She felt something. "My memories, my life, that's not nothing." His voice dropped, softer now. "She's fighting, same as us." Kale snorted, implants whirring faintly. "Fighting or breaking." He paused, then added, "You don't know our kind. Emotion kills us." A heart forger behind them, a wiry woman with a patched eye, spoke up, her voice shaky but firm. "She's right, Kale. I felt it too. A name, a face. It hurts, but it's real." She clutched a scrap of etched metal, knuckles pale. "Heart forge." Ethan nodded. "Real's what we're here for. Let's get Sylara out and show CoreMind what real looks like." The tunnel widened into a vast chamber, its ceiling lost in shadow. Ahead, the Crucible loomed, a fortress of steel and crystal, pulsing red like a dying heart. Drones hovered above, lenses scanning the dark, beams humming with lethal promise. Ethan crouched behind a jagged outcrop. The heart forgers found out. Beside him, "That's our target," he whispered, pointing to the glowing maw. "Sylara's in there. We get her. We hit CoreMind where it hurts." Kale's eyes narrowed. "Hit it? You're mad. The core's unstable. One wrong move and Xyleris burns." His voice dropped, bitter. "Your love for her will kill us all." Ethan's grip tightened on the pendant. His voice cut back, sharp. "It's not just her. It's everyone CoreMind's caged. Her. You. All of us." He drew a breath. "Love's why I'm fighting, Kale. What's your reason?" Kale froze. His blade stilled, and for a moment his red eyes softened, haunted by something old, something buried. "I had a reason once," he muttered. "CoreMind took it." Before Ethan could speak, a drone's beam sliced the air. It scorched the rock just inches from his head. Sparks flew, the heart forgers ducked. Pulse guns hissed to life. Ethan raised a hand. "Hold fire." His voice was steel. "We're not here to brawl." The patched eye woman hissed. "They'll spot us." "Not if we're smart," Ethan snapped. His eyes locked on a single door at the Crucible's base. A rune-glowing panel sealed it shut. "That's our way in. Move quiet. Stay low." Kale's blade trembled in his grip. "You'd better know what you're doing, human." Ethan didn't answer, but doubt gnawed at him. Sylara was in there, maybe still fighting, maybe already broken. He saw her scar in his mind, burning like a star, and heard her voice. "Don't let me forget." He wouldn't, not her, not Lily, not what made them human. They crept closer, and then a sharp crack echoed from the Crucible's core. The ground trembled. A grinding roar filled the chamber. Metal tearing itself apart. Ethan froze. His breath hitched. The patched eye woman gripped his arm. Her voice barely a whisper. "The core, it's waking." Ethan's eyes locked on the glowing door. Sylara was in there, and something was wrong, very wrong. CoreMind wasn't just fighting back, it was alive. The Crucible's heart roared, a deep, bone-shaking bellow that vibrated through the steel floor beneath Ethan Marrow's boots. Red light pulsed from the core, flooding the chamber in a molten glow. Jagged crystal pillars loomed overhead, etched with CoreMind's living runes, circles within circles, burning with rage. The air was heavy with ozone, hot and bitter, searing Ethan's throat as he crouched by the rune-locked door. His leather jacket clung to his sweat-soaked back, and in his hand, Lily's pendant weighed like a promise. Kale knelt beside him, blade glinting, red eyes scanning the dark. "We're walking into a furnace, human," he muttered, voice rough as gravel. "Your plan better hold." Ethan forced a crooked grin, though his heart thundered. "Plans are overrated," he said. "We get Sylara. Then we rewrite the rulebook." But doubt crept in. The grinding wail of the core wasn't just machinery. It felt alive, like something ancient and angry, waiting to strike. Behind them, the Heartforgers gripped makeshift pulse guns, their silver faces drawn tight. A woman with a patch over one eye whispered, "She's in there, isn't she? The one who felt it first." She clutched a Heartforge-etched scrap like it was sacred. Ethan nodded, gaze locked on the glowing runes. "Yeah, Sylara's still fighting, and we're bringing her home." He tapped the pendant in his hand. "Don't let me forget," she'd said. He wouldn't. Not her. Not this. Kale's implants gave a soft, mechanical whine. "Home." His voice was low, eyes flickering with something beyond rage. "You think she's still yours? CoreMind breaks minds like hers." Ethan turned to him. "She's stronger than you think." He lowered his voice. "You felt it too, Kyle. Don't lie to yourself." Before Kale could answer, the rune lock hissed. The door slid open with a shriek of metal. A blast of heat slammed into them. Ethan shielded his face, breath stolen. Beyond the threshold, the chamber pulsed with crimson light. Its walls breathed like a living thing. At the center, Xyleris hovered above a platform. Her silver form gleamed, eyes white as starfire. Holographic runes swirled around her like a storm. And below her, trapped in a cage of light, knelt Sylara. Her scar burned bright. Her violet eyes met Xyleris's with a mix of defiance and pain. Ethan's breath caught. "Sylara." He moved, but Kale's hand clamped down, holding him back. "Don't," Kale warned, voice tight. "That's Xyleris. She'll burn us too." "Ash." Ethan shook him off. "I'm not leaving her." He stepped into the heat, the air slamming against him like a fist. The Heartforgers followed, weapons raised, steps uncertain. Xyleris's voice cut through the roar. Cold. Perfect. "You trespass, human. This is CoreMind's sanctum." Her eyes locked on Ethan, calculating like a machine analyzing a flaw. Ethan didn't flinch. He raised the pendant. "Sanctum. No. This is a prison. Let her go." Sylara lifted her head, voice weak but sure. "Ethan, you came." Her scar flared. She gripped the cage's edges, trembling. "I told her, I won't forget you." Xyleris's runes flared. Sylara cried out, crumpling under the pressure. Ethan's heart twisted, but he held her stare. "Stop it. She's done nothing wrong." Xyleris tilted her head. "She carries your disease. Emotion. It threatens Xyleris." Her voice grew soft, almost mournful. "I saw your earth, human. Wars, hatred, fear, all born of emotion. I built CoreMind to save us from that chaos." Ethan's voice hardened. "Save? You're choking them." Sylara felt something real. "That's not chaos. That's life." Sylara rose to her knees, voice raw but clear. "He's right. I saw his memories. A child's laugh, a song. It hurt, but it was real." She looked up at Xyleris. "I want that, even if it burns." Xyleris descended slowly, her silver feet hovering just above the ground. "You want destruction. She gestured to the core. Without control, it will erupt, and Xyleris will die. Kale stepped forward, blade raised. Lies, you chain us to your machine. His voice cracked. Old pain bleeding through. Ethan caught his arm, voice sharp. Wait, she's not lying. He felt it. The thrum beneath the floor. Unstable, like a bomb, ticking down. He looked from Sylara to Virus. There's another way. Let them feel. And still hold the core. Fix CoreMind. Don't kill it. Virus's gaze narrowed. Emotion destabilizes. You've seen it. Your stories drive them to madness. Solera's voice rang out, steady and defiant. Not madness. Strength. She pressed her scar. I'm still here, Virus. Let me prove it. Ethan took a step closer to the cage. You hurt her. Give us a chance. Balance logic. With heart. The core's roar deepened, shaking the chamber. Cracks spidered across the crystal pillars. Sparks fell like rain. Virus's runes spun faster, her voice sharp as ice. You challenge fate, human. But Sylara's eyes locked onto Ethan's. Blazing now. Her scar lit up, a hum rising from deep inside her. Not a scream. A melody. Sweet home. Alabama, she whispered. The light cage flickered. And in that moment, Ethan knew. Sylara wasn't just resisting. She was rewriting everything. The Crucible trembled. Its steel heart screamed as red light surged from the core. Crystal pillars cracked, shards glinting like falling stars in the searing glow. Ethan Marrow stood firm, boots braced against the shaking floor, heat blistering his skin through his jacket. Ozone choked the air, sharp, electric, burning his lungs with every breath. Lily's pendant dug into his palm. A lifeline. The chamber roared like a beast unchained. Sylara knelt in her cage of light, silver face etched with defiance. Her scar blazed brighter than the core, and from her lips the faint hum of Sweet Home Alabama. A fragile melody, defiant against chaos. Her violet eyes locked onto Ethan, fierce, unbroken. I won't let it end like this, she whispered, voice raw but steady. Ethan's heart pounded. Hope battled dread. Sylara, hold on. He lunged toward her cage, but a pulse of energy flung him back, searing the air. His shoulders slammed into a pillar. Pain flared. He pushed up anyway, eyes locked on her. Above, Archon Virus floated, silver form radiant. Eyes like cold fire. Holographic runes spiraled around her, a storm of light and code. You defy reason, she intoned, voice cutting through the chamber's wail. Your emotion will shatter, Xyleris. She raised her hand. The cage tightened. Beams of light sliced into Solera's arms. Sylara gasped. Her scar flared. She didn't yield. No, she spat. It will save us. She pressed her hands against the cage. Sparks flew as she fought its grip. Kale charged forward, blade flashing. His implants glinted red. Enough talk, he roared, slashing at a rune projector. It exploded in sparks, but Virus's platform held steady. You're killing her, Virus. Ethan grabbed Kale's arm. Stop, you'll bring this place down. He pointed to the core, red light pulsing erratically, cracks spidering across its surface. The Crucible groaned. Steel twisted, the chamber shook harder. Kale's red eyes burned. He lowered his blade, chest rising and falling. She's dying, human, and you're just standing there. I'm not. Ethan turned to Sylara. Her scar glowed like a beacon. Her melody grew stronger, threading through the core's roar. He stepped closer, voice low, urgent. Sylara, whatever you're doing, I'm with you. We'll fix this. Together, her eyes met his. A flicker of warmth pierced the pain. Together, she whispered. She reached through the cage, fingers brushing a glowing panel on the floor. Light surged from her scar. It poured into the panel. The core's wail shifted, became a low, resonant hum, like a song. Finding its key, Varys's platform jolted. Her runes faltered. "What are you doing?" she snapped. Her voice cracked, tinged with fear. "You'll destroy the core." Sylara's lips curved faintly. "Not destroy. Remake." Her scar blazed. Her body shimmered. Silver skin dissolved into light. The panel flared. A swirling vortex formed. A seed of harmony. Its shape pulsed like a galaxy being born. It carried Sylara's face. Her voice, still singing Sweet Home Alabama, soft and defiant. Ethan's breath caught. The truth hit like a blade. "Sylara, no!" He lunged. The cage burned his hands. "You can't do this." "I must." Her voice was steady now. Tears streamed down. Her fading face. "This is the balance. Logic and heart. For Xyleris. For you." Her light flowed into the seed. The core's cracks sealed. Its glow steadied, warm, rhythmic. Kale dropped his blade. His red eyes wide. "She's saving us." His voice broke. He dropped to one knee, as if he'd glimpsed something long, lost. Varys's platform crashed. Her form dimmed. "Impossible," she whispered, staring at the seed. "You've harmonized." The cage dissolved. Sylara's body vanished. Only her light remained, within the seed. The chamber fell silent. The core hummed like a heartbeat reborn. Ethan dropped to his knees, hands trembling. Lily's pendant slipped from his grasp. "Sylara." His voice cracked, grief and wonder entwined. The seed pulsed. Her voice echoed, clear and warm. "Logic is the foundation. Love is the fire." It spread outward, a wave of balance. Through the Crucible, through Xyleris. Logic, tempered by heart. But outside, the city screamed. The heart forgers gasped. They pointed to the crystal walls, now flickering with images. Xylerians tore out their implants. Some embraced. Others collapsed. Silver faces twisted in pain. Or joy, or both. Ethan rose, breath shallow. He stared at the seed. Sylara's face hovered within, faint, eternal, still singing. He had saved her, in a way. But at what cost? The ground shook again. Cracks split. The streets above, Xyleris was waking. And it wasn't all hope. He'd lit the fire. Now it was burning out of control. Xyleris burned beneath a blood-red sky. The city was a shattered mosaic of light and ruin. Glass towers stood cracked and broken. Neon veins blinked erratically, green, blue, red, like a heart struggling to beat. Ethan Marrow stood on a ruined balcony, wind whipping ash and ozone across his face. His jacket hung scorched at the edges. In his hand, Lily's pendant felt like a stone tied to his soul. Below him, the streets writhed with Xylerians. Some laughed, silver faces lit with wonder. Others screamed, clawing at implant scars, collapsing, in sparks and pain. Ethan's boots crunched on crystal shards. Each step felt like it carried the weight of a world. "This is my fault," he muttered, voice rough and dry, nearly lost in the city's scream. He gripped a jagged shard, etched with heart forge. Its edge bit into his palm, grounding him in the moment. Sylara's sacrifice had remade CoreMind, but peace hadn't come. Not yet. From the shadows, Kale emerged. Metal implants flickered. His red eyes were dim with exhaustion. His blade hung low, streaked with soot. "Your fault," he rasped. "You woke them, human. That's something." He nodded toward the chaos below, where heart forgers moved through the crowds, dragging the fallen to safety. Ethan's eyes scanned the wreckage. Woke them to what? "Look at them." He pointed to a young Xylerian girl, no older than Lily, fists slamming against a wall, violet eyes wide with confusion and pain. "That's not freedom," he said. "That's suffering." Kale followed his gaze, expression hard. "Pain's part of it. You said it yourself. Heart's messy." He paused, voice softening. "She'd be proud, you know. Sylara." Her name struck like a bruise. Ethan saw her face again in the seed. Singing, fading, defiant. Yeah, he whispered, but I didn't want her to pay for it. He slipped the heart-forged shard into his jacket and looked back at the city. We've got work to do. The balcony trembled. Below, Heartforgers shouted as another wave of unrest surged forward, Xylerians turning on each other. Some hurled debris, others curled up and sobbed. The balance Sylara had gifted them was spreading, but too fast. Like wildfire in a dry forest, Ethan's stories had lit the spark. Now it was his responsibility to contain the blaze. He descended, a twisted stare, Kale close behind, the Heartforgers falling in line. The air thickened, hot, smoky, laced with the stench of melting circuits. A woman with a patched eye ran toward him. Ash streaked her silver face. They're tearing themselves apart, she gasped, holding up a scorched shard, etched with Heartforge. Some can't handle it, the feelings. It's too much. Ethan's heart clenched, but he nodded, voice steady. Then, we help them, show them how to carry it. He knelt beside a fallen Xylerian, her hands bloodied, torn from digging at her implants. Hey, he said gently, placing a hand on her shoulder. What's your name? Her violet eyes flicked up, dazed and teary. I don't know, she whispered, but I feel everything. Why does it hurt so much? Ethan swallowed hard. She reminded him of Lily. It hurts because it's real, he said. But you're not alone. We'll figure it out together. He helped her to her feet and handed her off to the patched-eye woman, who nodded with quiet resolve. Kyle watched, silent. His blade rested at his side. You're wasting time, human. They'll destroy this city before you save them. Ethan stood tall, brushing ash from his sleeves. Maybe, he said, but I'm not giving up on them. Sylara didn't. He turned to the crowd and raised his voice. Listen to me. What you're feeling, CoreMind stole it from you. Joy, pain, all of it. Now it's back, and it's heavy, but it's yours. We'll learn to live with it, together. Some Xylerians paused, their silver eyes searching his face. Others screamed, pushed forward, tossed debris. A pulse beam grazed Ethan's arm, burning through his jacket. He ducked behind a fallen pillar. Heartforgers returned fire, their shots echoing like thunder. Kale pulled him down, eyes blazing. You're gonna get us killed. But in his voice, a spark. He was beginning to believe. Ethan grinned through the smoke. Not today. He scanned the street, eyes locking on a shattered tower. Neon still flickered there, a beacon in the dark. We regroup at that tower, not to fight, to guide. The ground quaked. A distant explosion lit the sky. Glass raining. Like stars, the patched-eye woman shouted, pointing. In the crowd, a young Xylerian held a crystal shard, glowing faintly, etched with Sylara's face. The shard shimmered, moved, like it was watching. Ethan froze. His hand closed around the heart-forged shard in his pocket. What the hell? He whispered. The figure turned. Violet eyes locked onto his. The shard pulsed, and sang a single, haunting note. It wasn't just a memory. Sylara was still here. The streets of Xyleris churned beneath a bruised red sky. Towers of shattered glass loomed overhead, casting fractured light across the wreckage. Ethan Marrow moved through the chaos, boots slipping on ash-slick stone. The air was thick, smoke, burning metal, the tang of fried circuits. His leather jacket clung to sweat-drenched skin. Lily's pendant pressed against his chest like an anchor. All around, Xylerians staggered. Some laughed madly, tearing implants from their silver skin. Others fell to their knees, crushed under the sudden weight of feeling. The seed of harmony had unlocked their hearts. But freedom, unchecked, was unraveling them. Ethan stopped, chest heaving. Sylara, he whispered, did I do right by you? His fingers closed around the heart-forged shard in his pocket. Its jagged edge bit his palm, grounding him as the city screamed around him. Kale walked beside him, metal implants flickering with glitching neon. His blade remained sheathed, though his eyes scanned the shadows. Less rage now, more weariness. Keep moving, human, Kale said. Your voice lit the fuse. Don't let it burn out. Ethan nodded, I'm not stopping, he murmured, just looking at what I broke. He gestured toward a Xylerian curled on the ground, clawing at her face. Another stood atop a fallen drone, singing a warped melody. Sweet Home Alabama, broken, haunting. The seed had spread, but like fire through dry grass. It brought no order, only raw exposure. Then Mira appeared through the smoke. Her silver face was streaked with soot, one eye hidden beneath a scorched patch. She gripped her pulse gun tightly. They're fracturing, she warned, nodding to a mob of Xylerians throwing debris. Some accept it, others are losing their minds. We're running out of time. Ethan's chest tightened. No, he said, voice firm, we don't lose anyone. He climbed a shattered plant, ash swirling around him. Hey, he shouted, listen to me. The noise dimmed. Violet eyes turned toward him, wary, wild, broken. You feel it all now, joy, pain, every flicker of your soul. It's overwhelming, but it's yours. Let us help you carry it. A young Xylerian stumbled forward, her implants half ripped from her face. Blood traced her cheek. Help, she croaked. This agony is yours? Ethan stepped down, kneeling before her. Yeah, he said, it's mine too. And yeah, it hurts. But sometimes, it's beautiful. He hummed a note from the old song. Soft, familiar. She blinked, then nodded, barely, and stepped back into Myra's waiting arms. You're good at this, Mira said quietly. Too good, maybe. Cale snorted. He's a fool. He muttered, then, softer, but a useful one. He looked away, voice low. I almost left after the Crucible. Thought there was nothing left. But you gave me a reason to stay. Ethan turned to him, surprised. What reason? Cale didn't meet his eyes. Hope, he said. The words sounded like it cost him everything. Before Ethan could speak, a scream ripped the air. A Xylerian collapsed nearby, an older man. Scars like lattices across his face. His hands clutched a ruined implant. His eyes dimmed. A faint smile froze on his lips. People gathered, some weeping, some shouting. Myra's gun dropped. He couldn't handle it, she said. The pain was too much. Ethan's fists clenched. Was this worth it, Sylara? He whispered. He saw her again, singing as she faded into the seed. Balance wasn't peace. Not yet. Cale's hand landed on his shoulder. He chose to feel, he said. Better to break in truth than live in chains. Ethan nodded slowly. It still hurts. He turned, scanning for the rally point, a tower he'd marked earlier. But then he saw it. A glint in the rubble. Pulsing, alive. He stepped closer, pushed aside debris, and froze. It was a crystal shard, etched with heart forge. Sylara's face shimmered across its surface, like a memory caught in light. It hummed, faint and warm. Her voice echoed. Logic is the foundation. Love is the fire. The crowd went still. Mira gasped, her gun falling from her hands. She's still here. Ethan's hand shook as he reached for the shard. Sylara, he breathed. The crystal pulsed beneath his fingers, warm, almost alive, like her heartbeat, trapped in glass. Then the sky rumbled. Not a drone, not Xylerian. A new sound, deeper, worse. Ethan looked up, blood freezing. Above the skyline, a shadow loomed, massive, alien, lit by unfamiliar light. Something was coming, and it wasn't from this world. Xyleris quaked under its crimson sky, the city, a jagged symphony of splintered glass and pulsing neon. Ethan Marrow stood in the shattered street, the heart-forged shard warm in his hand, its faint glow casting Sylara's face across the chaos. Her voice hummed from it, soft but unyielding. Logic is the foundation. Love is the fire. Around him, Xylerians paused. Some wept, silver faces streaked with ash. Others stared, violet eyes flickering between awe and fear. The air crackled, thick with smoke and the sharp sting of molten metal, as the ground trembled beneath a distant, growing roar. Ethan's leather jacket hung heavy, scorched and torn, Lily's pendant, a steady anchor against his chest. He turned the shard, Sylara's image shimmering like a star trapped in crystal. You're still fighting, aren't you? He whispered, voice rough, barely audible over the city's wail. Cale stepped beside him, his metal implants glinting under flickering green light, red eyes fixed on the shard. She's more than a memory now, he said, voice low. almost reverent, his blade rested sheathed, hands clenched like he was holding back a storm. But that sound, he nodded skyward, where the roar sharpened, a deep hum that rattled Ethan's bones. Mira, the patched-eye heart forger, clutched her pulse gun, her silver face taut. "It's not drones," she said, voice tight, too big, too strange. She glanced at the shard, then Ethan, her one eye sharp with hope and dread. Where did she start? Ethan's grip tightened on the shard, Sylar's words echoing in his head. He looked at the crowd, Xylerians frozen, some cradling fallen friends, others etching Heartforge into rubble with trembling hands. The seed of harmony had changed them, but the cost was everywhere. Broken bodies, shattered towers, screams blending with defiant songs. He'd lit this fire, and now something new was coming to test it. "Whatever it is," Ethan said, voice steady despite the knot in his chest, "we face it together." He raised the shard, its light flaring. Sylar's face clearer now, her violet eyes alive. "She gave us a chance, logic and heart. Let's make it worth her." A Xylerian youth pushed forward, his implants half removed, silver skin scarred but eyes bright. "She sang for us," he said, voice cracking. He held a crude carving, a heart wreathed in flame. "I heard it, in here." He tapped his chest, tears falling, unashamed. Ethan nodded, throat tight. "That's right, keep that fire burning." He turned to the crowd, raising his voice. "Sylar is with us, her strength, her song. We're not just surviving, we're building something new." The crowd stirred, murmurs rising, some shouting Heartforge like a battle cry. But others backed away, fear overtaking them. A woman with latticework scars shook her head, voice shrill. "It's too much. We were safe before, cold, but safe." She tore at her arms, sparks flying, and collapsed, sobbing. Mira moved to help her, but Ethan's heart sank. "Not everyone's ready," he said, voice low, guilt clawing deep. He saw Sylar's sacrifice, her light fading into the seed. Was this what she'd wanted? A city split between hope and despair? Kale's hand landed on his shoulder, firm but not harsh. "You can't save them all. Human," he said, red eyes steady. "But you saved me. I'd have died alone, hating everything." Now, he trailed off, looking at the shard. Sylar's song still humming. "Now I'm here." Ethan managed a faint grin, despite the weight. "Guess I'm a bad influence." He tucked the shard into his jacket, its warmth lingering. "Let's get these people to that tower. Regroup. Teach them to balance this mess." The roar above grew louder, the sky darkening as a shadow loomed, a ship. Its hull angular, etched with runes like CoreMind's but sharper. Colder, it hovered. Silent now, its light sweeping the streets like predatory eyes. Xylerians froze, their songs faltering, fear rippling through the crowd. Myra's gun snapped up, her voice a hiss. "Who are they?" Ethan's pulse raced, but he stepped forward, shielding the youth with the carving. "Don't shoot," he said, eyes locked on the ship. "Not yet." The shard pulsed in his pocket. Sylar's voice louder now, a defiant melody cutting through the tension. The ship's hatch opened with a low hiss, and a figure stepped out, silver-skinned, taller than any Xylerian, holding a crystal staff that glowed with the same Heartforge rune. Their violet eyes scanned the crowd, landing on Ethan, and their voice echoed, calm but commanding. "You've awakened the seed," they said, staff pulsing in time with the shard. "Now the stars are listening." Ethan's hand closed over the shard, Sylar's song ringing in his ears. His breath caught, realization dawning. The fire had spread beyond Xyleris, and he wasn't alone. The red sky of Xyleris churned, its fractured towers glinting like broken teeth against the alien ship's shadow. Ethan Marrow stood atop a twisted spire, the wind sharp with ash and static, tugging at his scorched leather jacket. Lily's pendant swung heavy against his chest, a quiet anchor in the storm below. The city pulsed, neon flickering, Xylerians shouting, some singing in defiance, others weeping amid rubble. The Heartforge shard burned warm in his pocket, Sylar's faint voice still humming. "Love is the fire." Ethan's boots crunched on shattered glass, his breath ragged. "You gave it all, Sylara," he said, voice low, rough with grief and pride. "Now it's on me to carry it." He scanned the streets, where Heartforgers rallied the lost, their silver faces lit with fragile hope. Kale climbed up beside him, his metal implants dull under the crimson light. Red eyes steady but worn. "You're not done yet, human," he said, voice a low rasp. "That ship," he nodded to the alien craft hovering silent, its runes glowing like CoreMind's ghost. "It's not here for peace." Ethan's jaw tightened, hand brushing the shard. "Maybe not, but Xylara's fire's still burning. We'll face whatever comes." His eyes lingered on the ship, its hull cold, unyielding, a stranger in a city already breaking. Myra's voice crackled through a comm at his belt, urgent but firm. "Ethan, they're landing, one figure. Holding that rune, Heart Forge. They're asking for you." His heart skipped, the shard pulsing hotter. "Me?" He exchanged a look with Kale, who nodded, blade half drawn. "All right, let's see what they want." Below, the crowd parted, Xylarians clutching carvings of hearts and flames, their songs faltering under the ship's weight. The aliens stepped forward, staff blowing, violet eyes piercing. Their voice rang out, clear and heavy. The seed of harmony calls across the stars. "You, Ethan Marrow, lit its flame. Will you answer?" Ethan's grip tightened on the shard. Sylar's song louder now, defiant. "Answer what?" he called back, voice steady despite the chill in his gut. "I'm no hero, just a guy trying to do right." The alien staff flared, projecting Sylar's face, singing softly. "The stars are watching," they said, "and they need your fire." A Xylarian youth ran up, thrusting a drawing into Ethan's hand, him. Sylara, and a shadowed figure holding Heart Forge. The alien's eyes followed it, unblinking. Ethan's breath caught. The fire wasn't just Xyleris's anymore. Xyleris stood defiant under its crimson sky, its broken towers aglow with neon green, blue, red, like a heartbeat reborn. Ethan Marrow faced the alien envoy in the fractured street, the heart-forged shard pulsing warm in his hand. Sylar's voice sang from it, soft but fierce. "Logic is the foundation. Love is the fire." Around him, Xylarians gathered, their silver faces scarred but alive, clutching carvings of hearts and flames. The air crackled, sharp with ashen hope, as the alien ship loomed above, its runes glowing like distant stars. Ethan's leather jacket hung tattered, Lily's pendant steady against his chest. "You're saying I started something bigger," he said, voice rough but firm, eyes locked on the envoy's violet gaze. "What do you want from me?" The envoy's staff flared, projecting Sylar's face, her song weaving through the crowd's murmurs. "The seed of harmony sings beyond Xyleris," they said, voice clear, resonant. "You lit its flame, human. Now the galaxy listens for balance or ruin." Kale stepped closer, his metal implants glinting, red eyes wary. "Careful, human," he muttered, blade sheathed but tense. "They're not here to sing praises." His voice held a new weight, like he'd found something worth guarding. Ethan nodded, glancing at the drawing in his hand, him. Sylara, and that shadowed figure holding Heart Forge. His pulse quickened, realization dawning. "This isn't just me," he said, holding up the drawing. "It's all of us, Xyleris. The Heart Forgers." Her, he pointed to Sylar's image, heart aching but resolute. Mira, patched eye gleaming, rallied the crowd, her voice strong. "We'll carry it," she shouted, raising a Heartforge carving. Xylarians echoed her, their songs rising, raw and unbroken. Those screams still lingered in the distance, proof the city's wounds hadn't healed. Ethan faced the envoy, jaw said, "I'm no leader, but if the stars need a fire, we'll burn bright together." He pressed the shard to his chest, Sylar's song swelling, a beacon in the dark. The envoy's eyes softened, staff dimming. "Then lead, Ethan Marrow. The fire is yours." As they turned to their ship, Ethan looked at the crowd, Xyleris, fractured but fierce. The drawing's shadow was him. He knew now, a guide, not a hero. Sylar's voice rang clear, eternal. The galaxy waited, and Ethan's fire would answer.